Hold for a minute. We got some loose straps. Good to go. The Sturgeon River Gorge Wilderness, Ottawa National Forest. Kind of doing a trial run of sorts. Next Friday, Beth and I go over to Isle Royale together. Yeah, someone asked recently about whether bear bags or canisters are needed in the UP. Every one of these places that we've been to in the National Forest where they allow camping or backpacking all shows the same thing. Either hang your food or bear canister. There is black bear here. This is about a 3-mile round trip.
I think people actually go down there. Maybe they fish down there. It looks like a pretty rugged looking trail though. I don't think it's Dwayne says it's water runoff. I don't think it's only water runoff, because you can see it. It's like people have walked past it.
This is about a 3-mile round trip. It's kind of a practice run. Beth's got her pack at a pretty low weight. She's planning on doing a little bit of a hike on 4th of July weekend on Isle Royale. I'll let her. Beth hasn't really had a chance to hike with her pack, so this is kind of a prep for Isle Royale for her. She got her pack dialed down to about 20 pounds, which is awesome. That was before water. Being that 2 liters of water weighs about 4.4 pounds, that still puts her under 25 pounds. Because of the guide service, normally my preferred pack weight is 38 pounds with 2 liters of water. I'm closer to 40 pounds without water, with all the required gear I'm supposed to take. So I'm heavy this year. 44 pounds with water is with 2 liters of water is quite heavy for me. It's starting to remind me of being in the Army, but I'm getting used to it. This particular section of trail is a lot like some of the greenstone on the western end. You're walking through, I got a friend of mine who calls it the Green Tunnel. The greenstone shows this kind of stuff. You're walking through the forest, still has its roots, but to get down in the gorge, we actually gonna travel on a switchback. Matter of fact, we're coming up to it right here to get down there safely. There are a couple mountain goat ways, but we're gonna take the actual trail today. Round trip, it's about 3.5 miles if you stay on the switchback trail. And here we are at the switchback. But this is the Sturgeon River Gorge. There's a big falls at the bottom. This is one of our go-to trial hikes for Isle Royale just because of the terrain. Canyon Falls is our favorite one because of it. The rocks and roots really mimic most of Isle Royale, but the going down and coming up out of here reminds me a lot of hiking the Greenstone. You know, we're gonna end up way down there on this switchback, but this is what we have in our neighborhood. I mean, this is only a 20-minute, 30-minute ride from our house. So we're actually very lucky to have places to practice for Isle Royale, basically in our backyard.
Option where we were at the top.
Yeah, I think the animals definitely don't take the switchback.
No. Looks like
I can see deer hoof prints right there, so just like even on Isle Royale, the trail crew comes out here and opens these up. This appears to have been cleared by an axe. Gotta give them guys credit, man. Forest Service people and the Isle Royale crew, trail crew, get out there with axes and bow saws and clear some pretty big stuff off the trails for us. As you can see, we're working our way down. We're actually going all the way to the bottom of the gorge today. Not a real extensively long hike, but it definitely gives you the feel of climbing up to and down off of the greenstone. This particular switchback, every time we take it, reminds me of the switchback going into Lane Cove. The biggest problem with the switchback going into Lane Cove, that's a dead-end trail. You know the next morning you got to climb back out it. So just a funny side note. Personally, not a real big fan of Lane Cove. Turned out to be a warm day, considering a week ago I was coming home from Isle Royale and the high temperature never got above 45 in my whole time there. Past few days have been crawling up to 90 around us. I believe the forecast was for 85 today. It's relatively early in, well, I guess it isn't early morning anymore. It's 1:30 our time, so, but just glad to be out on the trail. Like I said, we head out on the Voyager next Saturday, so we'll be driving to Grand Portage Friday, July 1st. We started to level off now. We're basically almost to the bottom of the gorge. We're going to come out at the top of the falls. We will climb down all the way to the bottom of the falls. But here shortly we're going to open up into the falls, the upper part of the falls. It's pretty spectacular, actually. I really enjoy coming down here. People always look at us really weird when they see us coming down here in full backpacks. But I get tired of trying to explain to people I'm getting ready for Isle Royale. So I just smile and say, have a nice day. Anyone who's been to Isle Royale can see why we like training here. Beautiful ruts and stuff on the trail. It's about as real as you can get to what Isle Royale's like without actually being on the island. Of course, the geology makeup of the western part of the Upper Peninsula is really close to the geology makeup of Isle Royale.
So you can see here the water coming over the falls. At the top, the main channel leading into it. Here we have Dwayne, he's ready to go down alongside and get to the bottom pools. Again, here we're right at the top. You can see Dwayne over there going down the side. And here I'm above the main falls.
We're gonna work our way down to the bottom of the big falls. Beth's boys talk about coming out here, their friends, going down on that rock and jumping into the waterfall pool. Personally, I think that's freaking nuts, but I guess kids don't think correctly. Obviously, enough people do it, you can see the trails worn from the bottom of the falls running back up to the rock they jump off of. To each their own. I jumped out of perfectly good friggin' airplanes. Managed to survive. Don't plan on jumping off of a waterfall and breaking a leg or my neck. Just does not interest me.
Giving you a view of the trail. I'm just coming along the edge. Dwayne took the main trail. I'm kind of on the scenic route. But you can see how dramatic it is. We're still above the falls. And there's the pools at the bottom. I have to go around now to get to the part where you can see.
Now during the spring runoff, I wouldn't even attempt to come down here. That pile of logs is put here by the river's rage in the spring.
Back to the main trail. That way, so I went along the edge. I went along the edge there, and this way is the main trail going down. Dwayne already came this way, so we're following. Can get to a vantage point there. And just for perspective, you should be able to see Dwayne at the bottom. I'm coming down now. All right. See, I made the comment, that's for the people who are afraid of the edge. Yep, this one over here. That. Get a good view of the falls here. Not as good as we get from the bottom. It's so dry though. It's a little bit slick with the dryness. You can see how far down we are. If you look a little bit up. This is really carved out, the cavern here. There's Wayne down there. You can see him, he got here before me. But look at all the trees and stuff that are pushed over and just off to the side. Imagine all that coming over the falls.
That is the Sturgeon River Gorge Falls, the main falls. And personally, I can't imagine jumping off that rock up there and landing in the pool. But the kids do it. We are down at the bottom of the Sturgeon River Gorge. Pretty awesome. The log pile gets bigger every year, and that's from the rage of the river, and it's hard to believe that them logs came over those falls. But in the springtime, I would not be sitting where we are. We wouldn't be standing. This is totally submerged in water. It is crazy. We've been here during the spring runoff, the melt. We stayed up on the hill behind me because the water was just raging down here. She's got some big plans for this trip on Isle Royale. She's taking the Voyager on the Macargo, and she's gonna do the Manong solo. There's no doubt in my mind she's gonna do it. We've done it 4 times together, but she wants to do it solo. She wants the cred. She wants to actually lead an all-woman 50 and older hike on the Manong a couple times next year. So she's gonna take her GoPro and she's gonna do the Manong solo. Rock on. I'll be in Wendigo cheering her on. Myself, I'm gonna get some film of the moose. Might take a day hike over to Huggin' Cove. But she's gonna rock it. She's gonna rock the Manong. There is no doubt in my military mind that that girl is gonna do the Manong solo. She got her pack down to 20 pounds. That is awesome. A little bit different view of the falls, the top of the falls.
You can see Dwayne coming. It's a bit of a climb.
Climbing out of the gorge sometimes can be a lot worse than climbing in to the gorge. Something we talked about, and I think it's advice that works for anybody, whether you've been to Isle Royale 19 times like me or you're going for the first time. It is important to put what you think is your full pack on and go for a couple-mile hike. If it feels too heavy, it is. Go home, go through it, take out whatever you have to. You should be able to hike 5-6 miles comfortably with however much your pack weighs. There's a lot of things like this on Isle Royale. Not a real steep grade, but kind of switching back with a continuous up. Biggest reason we love this place for giving the packs a test run. Like I said, I've already been on the island once, so I'm pretty comfortable with where my pack's at. But I'm always game to go out and do a dry run. We opted to take the game trail up. It is really the true test. But I figure at this much, if the deer can do it, I can do it. It's like climbing the stairway to heaven, but it gets you out of the gorge faster.
And goat trail is rough. But we're making it. We're almost at the top.
I see the top. I see the top.